Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers.
Now, we know that Trump and other countries are having a hard time right now because America is facing revolt from its allies and even trade partners that they have had for many years. And this is affecting predominantly white Americans, especially farmers. Because if you look at those who are complaining right now of these trade wars, many of them are white farmers. And the question is, why are black farmers silent when whites are crying? I want us to watch this compilation of videos, then get to understand how things are in the ground. Let's watch.
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers. How many videos have you seen of black farmers, excuse me, making videos going, oh, I'm going to lose my farm because Trump cut off benefits. I'm going to lose my farm because the Department of Agriculture no longer gives me subsidy. How many videos have you seen of black farmers doing that? That's because black farmers have historically, till this day, been excluded from all government subsidies. So right now, every white farmer is learning how to survive the same way black farmers have been surviving. Like I said, what Trump was going to do was bring every white American down to the black American level.
The U.S. government gave 270 million acres of land away for free. Guess who didn't get any? That's right. After the Civil War, 3,500 black families managed to claim about 650,000 acres through the Homestead Act. Now that may sound like a lot, right? Well, that's when you realize that white settlers got 270 million acres, okay? Now the way I figure that, that's about a 400 to 1 difference. To paraphrase Martin Luther King, it wasn't just the land. The government built land-grant colleges to teach white farmers how to work the land. Then they sent out experts to help them succeed, and then they gave them low-interest loans and subsidies to keep white farmers growing. Black farmers, they were just left to figure it out on their own. Here's the wild part. You see, after the Civil War and the Homestead Act, black folks made it happen without government subsidies, and by 1910, black folks owned 16 million acres of land, about 14% of all of the farmland in the U.S. And here's the amazing thing, right? By 1910, that 16 million acres, that was the top part. That was the apotheosis of black farming. Think about the color purple, where all those black folks own land. They own that 16 million. Now that's where this chart comes in. Now you see this blue line? That's what white farmers got for free. Okay? Now the Homestead Act is the second line. This is what black folks got. Okay? That's the handouts that black folks got compared to those handouts. All right? Now, because black folks make a way out of no way, this green line, that's what black farmers had in 1910. Now here's the part that always makes me mad. 16 million acres of land, 14% of all the land that was farmland in America. That was 1910. Think the color purple and how Mr. and all these folks had land, all right? You know what the last line is? That's what black farmers own today. About 4 million acres of land. Literally, there have been reports that over 90% of black farmers get rejected for subsidies and loans. So that means that a black farmer essentially can't make money picking cotton. Make it make sense. There's always one factoid that makes me think, man, you know, black folks, we are awesome. The one person, one of the few people who made any money or any earnings off of the Homestead Act, black folks, was a man named Oscar Micheaux. So now for those of you who know anything about film, Oscar Micheaux essentially invented black film. And he used his earnings to support a thriving black film industry for about 30 years in Hollywood. So don't tell me that land ain't important and black folks owning land aren't important. Think of all the Oscar Micheaux we could have had. I'm your Uncle Sonari.
You know, I'm seeing all these videos right now where all these farmers are crying about not getting no help right right now. You know what? Let me ask you something. When have you ever heard of a black farmer crying about it? Never. And you want to know why? Because they ain't never got no help in the first place. That's right. USDA's literally admitted to discriminating against black farmers. And literally black farmers had to sue, thousands of them, to get what white farmers are handed for free. And fast forward to today, all these farmers crying that they can't get no help. You see, black farmers, they've been struggling. Y'all just now feeling what they've been feeling for over 100 years. Black farmers, they used to own over 19 million acres of land. But guess what? Systematic racism, denied loans, shady politicians, and legal loopholes wiped them all out. Yeah. And now they're 1% of America's farmland. When the government finally tried to pass relief for the black folk back in 2021, white farmers sued to block it, claimed it was reverse discrimination. Make that make sense. So, you know, next time you see folks complaining about farm aid, why don't you ask them, where's the help for the black farmers? Ask them why their struggle is just now important when others have been suffering for centuries.
If people knew what kind of mess was going on just to get a piece of chicken, they would stop eating it. Whatever you do, run from a poultry house. Do not do it. You'll lose your wife, you'll lose your health, you'll lose everything that you have. It's not worth it. Run from a chicken house. Run. I'm Carlton Sanders, and I'm from Forest, Mississippi, and I was a chicken grower for some 28 years for Cook Foods, and I lost everything I had due to the upgrades and a bunch of guys that didn't like black folks. That's the bottom line. I mean, if people knew how much trouble we were having trying to grow these chicken, they would stop eating chicken. I mean, it's just that simple. Because nobody wants to be like I am now. Done lost everything and pitiful looking and talking. And people don't want to do that. But now Tyson and Cook, ooh, it's just like you in hell with those guys. Yeah, I used to cry and couldn't stand to come by here because I did everything from scratch. And I'd been here for 30-some years. Had a beautiful garden. You know, everything was just good and perfect. So, you know, therefore, it just made a mess out of things. Have to get out and move somewhere else and relocate. And you know how it is. It was just hard all over. This was my #1 house right here on the Carlton Sanders farm. And I did this for 28 years right here at this farm right here. One year, and I would have had everything paid for, from $750,000 down to $50,000. They found out somehow that I'm about to get everything paid for, and they wanted me to do all upgrades, so they would put me back in debt some $500,000, and the bank wouldn't do it. First, the bank was on my side. So we are sick of these chicken farms and the way they operate. And then all of a sudden, when they got ready to cut me off and kill me, then the bank pulled in with them. My son got the money to buy the place, and once he got the money, they wouldn't let him have it. The man told me, said, well, he told my son first, he said, they trying to put your dad out of there. They sold for $110,000. That's what this guy got it for.
How much did you have to pay?
I offered him 150. It was a racial thing, a black versus white, and if I'd have been a white guy, I never would have went through this. And they didn't have no mercy on me, and I don't wish this on nobody. And a farmer shouldn't have to go through this, you know, when he's feeding America. He shouldn't have to go through this. Nobody should have to go through what I done gone through. So, like I said, I thank God I'm still living and things as well as it is. And you know, that's just how it is. I'm thankful and blessed. Chicken is the way of life in Mississippi. Now, that's where you're gonna find your black guys that on the truck and catching the chicken. It's pretty dangerous because right now, with this corona thing out, these people get sick and die or get sick, they just roll another black guy in this place and tell him to keep on getting up. It's terrible. If people knew what kind of mess was going on just to get a piece of chicken, they would stop eating it. Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Senator Doug Jones, they wanted to help. So we're trying to get a bill passed as to how we can handle these problems and help other growers not to grow through what I've gone through. You know, I look at it like Martin Luther King and Lewis. Those guys can do it, I can too. I want to be heard, and I want to be heard from. You know, we were supposed to meet Donald Trump, but he chickened out, he wouldn't do it. He said he didn't think the farmer was having that much trouble. He said, because he didn't hear nothing about it. Yeah, just because he don't hear nothing about it, that don't mean it ain't happening. You know, it's just tough. And then so many people laughed at me, and then so many people cried, you know. But I did the best I could with what I had to do, and you know, tried to make it.
Now, in April 2025, Trump's trade war with China, marked by 145% tariff and China's retaliatory 125% tariff, has hit white farmers harder than black farmers, sparking emotional distress among the former. White farmers concentrated in states like Iowa and Indiana rely heavily on exporting soybeans and corn to China, which accounts for 45% of US soybean export. China's tariffs have slashed demand, causing prices to plummet and threatening bankruptcies, as seen in 2018, when farmers lost close to $27 billion US. Many white farmers, ardent Trump supporters, feel betrayed by an unfulfilled promise of economic gain, with no immediate bailout in sight. Conversely, black farmers, often operating smaller, diversified farms in the South, are less dependent on export markets like China. Historically marginalized, they have faced systemic barriers to federal aid and export-driven agriculture, relying instead on local markets or alternative crops. Posting on X highlights how past bailouts favored white farmers, leaving black farmers skeptical of government supports. This resilience, born of necessity, shields them from the trade war's brands, while white farmers grapple with shattered expectations and economic peril. So that alone shows you how the racism that has worked and white supremacy that has worked in shaping America's economic system has now gone to fail white people, because you see, whites were favored to have large tracts of land and they are able to use them in planting crops that could be exported. But then right now, because of this trade wars that we're going to see, the trade war is going to affect white farmers whose main agenda for farming was export. If you look at black farmers, much of their produce is meant for local market, and therefore the lack of import of agricultural products from different countries is going to help increase the prices of farm produce from black farmers. And this is going to help black farmers rise in what they are going to get as revenues. So that is why white farmers are now freaking out, and they know that their goose has been cooked. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also share. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.